What is the overconsumption crisis? Is it hoarding a bunch of products? Is it buying too many supplies? Is it leading to a ton of waste? Or is it a mix of them? Yes, it's a mix of all three of those things, plus a little bit more. In this video, we're gonna be looking at some overconsumption trends that some people might refer to as a crisis. Now, all of these trends and topics that I've chosen have at some point gone through what I call overconsumption fever, not to be confused with the hit 1977 musical Saturday Night Fever. So without further ado, let's look at some overconsumption. Restock TikTok is a space where people fill their fridges with loads of snacks, drinks, and whatever other tasty treat they can fit in the icebox. Many videos on this side of TikTok are used as a form of ASMR or visual satisfaction, which I don't know about you, but there's nothing like seeing people put 1,000 tiny cheese wheels in a refrigerator door to calm the nerves. Ah, so calming, so peaceful. I could stay here forever. But a lot of the real criticism comes with videos like this. If you missed it, this is a $4,000 weekly restock. We get to see her stocking the fridge with things like breakfast sandwiches, corn dogs, or if you're like me, you thought those corn dogs were chocolate bananas for some reason. I don't know why I thought that. And then we also get to see her stocking the fridge with some dessert foods, which, assuming this is what a normal weekly restock looks like for her, it makes me wonder what the diet of these people actually is. And if you're like me, you see this and wonder why she bought so much low quality food. Like right now, it seems like this person or family's diet consists of corn dogs and ice cream sandwiches, which, I mean, sure, if you're into that, more power to you. I mean, buy what you want, but she doesn't only buy processed food. Okay, so there is more processed food, but she did buy some greens to go along with it. It doesn't balance out, but at least it's not solely processed food. It was all a lie. The restocking then goes on for a bit longer, and most of what they buy seems pretty questionable. And this leads me to a few different lines of thought. Either this family has the worst diet in all of human history, which I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, or this is supposed to be some kind of rage bait, which I think is probably the most likely out of the two. This video comes from an account called Satisfying ASMR M, and I don't know what that M at the end of that is for. Probably means mushrooms, or milk, or mayonnaise. I don't know. Which this account appears to be an account that just reposts videos of restock and organization, and a lot of them just seem like they're trying to get reactions out of people. And what really put the nail in the coffin for me thinking this is that they posted a video with text that says,
$6,000 full fridge restock.
And then this is the video. I can't believe I live in a world where I get to see the eighth wonder of the world, the Diet Coke fridge. But in all seriousness, like I said before, the main problem with this type of content is just the massive amounts of waste. And I mentioned this in another video, but I'll bring it up again. In the United States, food waste is estimated to be between 30 to 40% of food supply. That's a big percent. That is a whole big percent. If this is 100, it's like that much. But I guess as long as the videos people are making are getting engagement, then we're gonna keep seeing them. Now, makeup TikTok is a space that I'm admittedly not super familiar with, so I might accidentally end up rage baiting a few people while talking about it. The most I know about makeup is that it goes on your face and probably other places, like your arms or something. I don't know. Something I am sure of though is that a lot of people are talking about the overconsumption that goes on in this side of TikTok. So bear with me as I try to explain it. In these videos, we see massive amounts of collections of makeup stuff, sometimes filling up what looks like entire trash bags. I mean, look at this. There's so much here, and I couldn't tell you what a single one of these items are, except this, which I think is lipstick. Maybe. I'm sure someone in the comments will correct me, so just be on the lookout for that. But let's see this person's makeup collection.
I spent thousands of euros. It's in the 5 figures. About 25% maximum gets used regularly. I've decluttered hundreds of euros of makeup because it expired before I used it up. This amount of makeup can only be a shopping addiction problem. Nobody needs this much. So many of the products don't work for me. I just bought it based on the product being viral.
And here's where we're introduced to a few of the criticisms of makeup TikTok, specifically the expensive spending, wastefulness, and even pressure to buy more. I mean, in this clip alone, there appears to be more makeup than in an 80s sci-fi film. And this is one of those spaces where I think it's actually very easy to get influenced to buy more, especially with all the advertising and influencer marketing that goes on. You're given a huge selection of different products, all claiming to be the best and all tapping into some emotional trigger that will cause people to want to buy more. And it doesn't help that we're fed this kind of advertising from a very young age. I'm sure there were times where kids would come home from school, turn on Cartoon Network, and instantly be met with an ad for the Spooky Goop Frankenstein makeup kit.
Introducing Spooky Goop, horrifying monster makeup you make up at home.
Comment below if this commercial convinced you to get covered in spooky goop. But to be fair, I don't think the overconsumption of makeup even started on TikTok. I think it started in the olden days of YouTube. In the days when haul videos were taking over the trending pages, and when people were clicking on these videos just to see how much somebody bought. It was kind of wild. Wild to think about that we wanted to watch how much people bought. I guess we still do that, actually. You know what I buy? Nothing. I don't buy things. I don't know what a store is. Anyways, there's so many videos from years ago of the most random hauls you can think of. Windex perfume. What is that?
It smells so good.
As you can see, similar to the Windex perfume, there are so many gimmicky products where people just buy them because of the novelty of them. It's almost as if there's some kind of perfume for literally everything that exists. So all of that to say is that there is a lot of talk about makeup TikTok and how people buy way more than they need to and how it ends up leading to a lot of waste. And wasting makes the planet sick. We don't want a sick planet. We want a good, healthy planet. Shoes, things you wear on your feet or your hands if you're feeling extra crazy. Collecting shoes or sneakers has been a thing for a while, from old Jordan shoes to Converse to even stories of people fighting each other while trying to buy shoes. There's a whole deep and interesting culture that goes into buying sneakers or shoes, but I think TikTok has muddied the waters a little. Between flexing massive collections of shoes, the constant influx of limited edition shoes, and scalpers doing what they do best, scalping. I bet you didn't guess that I was gonna say that. There's a whole market around buying shoes that seems like it can become a bit excessive at times. Take this video, for example.
Videos don't do justice. Oh my gosh. Now you're 6'2"?
6'3".
6'3".
Yeah. And still can't reach it with this ladder. I have a yellow ladder that we've taken out.
And you've numbered all the shoes.
They were at one time 1 through 1,800. Yeah.
1,800 pairs of shoes. That is so crazy to me. That's like 3,600 feet. That's a lot of feet. I'm done talking about feet. Which, listen, I do draw a distinction between collecting and overconsumption, which I've talked about in other videos. But for things like this, for collections like this, it's really hard to say that this isn't overconsumption. My thought process here, though, is that he probably doesn't meaningfully use most of these shoes often or even at all. And it's not like they're in a prime viewing location. I mean, it looks like they're in some kind of back room. Some hidden back room, I don't know. But at the same time, I imagine a lot of these shoes are only going up in value, so I guess you could also call it an investment. Let me know your thoughts on this though. Do you think it's a collection or do you think it's overconsumption? And what do you think the difference would be? And when it comes to collecting shoes, there's actually another huge problem that I think is indirectly made worse by TikTok. Scalpers.
You're asking me about my Pokemon card. What are you doing?
Simply put, these are people who buy out a product by either buying a ton at once or using bots to buy something for them. Then they will sell it at a way higher price.
So the Travis Scott ones dropped today. If you're a normal person like me, you couldn't get them. No matter how many devices you have running, no matter how punctual you are with these releases, you're never gonna get your kicks because scalpers go hard.
And the reason I say that I think TikTok indirectly makes this worse is because with things like the TikTok shop, it makes it way easier to buy things in mass. And then with things like affiliate marketing or just general social media marketing, it's way easier to sell these products. So it becomes this kind of crazy cycle, this crazy scalping cycle. It's annoying. And then there's even videos of people teaching other people how to scalp. They're multiplying.
How to make money as a scalper. Buy these Jordans for 190 days. Sell them online for 187.
And the reason I would say this type of thing fits into the criteria of overconsumption crisis is because in some cases, specifically with certain collectors, they're gonna have to spend way more money to buy shoes. And actually that could really apply to many different hobbies. And there's definitely an argument to be made here in terms of overconsumption and wastefulness, especially if you like wearing shoes on your hands. So a lot of you are familiar with Color Talk. I've talked about it in a few videos. And I feel like I always make people really mad when I talk about it. So I'll keep this keep this pretty brief. Some people, not everyone, it's not everybody, some people on Color Talk may get into a position where they may kind of dabble in the practice of overconsumption.
So TikTok,
You always doing the TikTok.
What?
You always doing the TikTok.
I can do what I want. I pay my bills. My bills are paid. Just messed up my whole little video, but now I gotta restart it.
So yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Some people, not me, some people might say it's overconsumption. But would I say that? BookTok, the wonderful place on TikTok where people like to read books, collect books, and share some very spicy things.
And grabbed my.
So on BookTok, there's a few interesting conversations happening around overconsumption. There's the classic wasteful spending, there's the algorithm bait conversation, and then like I said, there is a very, very spicy side to it. In this video, we're gonna be focusing on the first two things I mentioned because the spicy side, it scares me, and I don't wanna talk about it. And I probably show this clip every time I talk about BookTok, but it is just such a prime example of overconsumption, so I'm gonna show it again.
Copies of Fourth Wing. I really like
And in response to her owning so many books, in this case, a lot of the same, here's what one guy had to say about it.
Absolutely no hate to this creator. We all know that she is famous for her beautiful and super unique library. But is it ever that serious to have that many copies of a singular book? Like, I'm all for a special edition or two, and, you know, I just think we really need to rein it in, because that to me screams peak overconsumption in the BookTok space. I think 1 or 2 copies of one of your favorite reads, cool, maybe a third if it's a super illustrious edition. But do we need to have a stack that is taller than you? Seems unnecessary to me. I don't know.
Well, Justin's Book Nook, I would totally agree with you. It does seem like an excessive amount. In fact, if you're thinking there's no way she could read this many books, I had that same thought too. That means we both had the same thought. If you have thoughts, subscribe. And even though I'm terrible at math, I ended up doing some calculations to see if it was even possible to read this many books. So I screenshotted this image. I asked ChatGPT how many books does it think are on this shelf. It gave me a rough calculation of 2,200 to 2,800. Then it gave me this visual, which I'm not sure how to interpret it. I then asked how long would it take the average human to read this many books. It then gave me this chart. If you read 1 hour a day, it'll take about 34 years. If you read 8 hours a day, it'll take about 4 years. It then offered me a personalized reading plan because I guess it thinks I'm insane. So to me, in my little humble opinion, if you buy way more copies of a book, specifically physical copies, way more than you can read or even store, I feel like that's a pretty clear-cut case of falling into overconsumption. And while looking through BookTok, I found out there's a whole wave of people promoting weird and even disturbing books that they've read. So if you want to be disturbed and freaked out a little bit, here's a BookTok recommendation for you. It's called Mina, and it has a screaming cat. And this is one of the first lines of the description for it. Crystal toils day and night to earn top grades at her cram school. She's also endlessly texting, shopping, drinking, vexing her boyfriends, cranking up her MP3s, and fantasizing about her next slice of cheesecake. Haven't we all done that? The cheesecake part, not the everything else. That's a weird description. So if you like reading about people toiling to do things, this is the book for you. I guess just go read it. Go check it out. Go toil. I'm gonna be honest, at this part, I was struggling to come up with a proper name for this side of things, so Toy Talk was the best I could come up with. We're just gonna roll with Toy Talk. Don't make a thing out of it. Don't make a scene. But when I'm saying Toy Talk, I'm referring to the side of TikTok where people buy, collect, and in some cases overconsume different types of toys. Whether it be the horror that is Labubus or the popular Funko Pops. There is a lot of different sides that we could talk about. The side I'll start with though is actually one I found relatively recently, Funko Pops. Now, I didn't realize it until recently, but apparently there's a whole big market for collecting, I guess, I don't know if you'd call them action figures or figurines or toys. I feel like saying toys is maybe derogatory, so I don't know. You toy heads, let me know. Let me know what to say. I don't want to get canceled. But there's a whole big giant market of collectors. And for example, let me show you a majestic and honorable creator known as Funko Daddy. He has a TikTok account with 119K followers, and it mainly consists of him showing off his Funko Pops. And he one time started a video with a bunch of pink frosted donuts. I am very much hungry now, so I guess something came out of it, I don't know. Thanks for that, Funko Daddy. But one common theme amongst his videos is his massive Funko Pop collection. So whether you call this overconsumption or even just merely collecting, a lot of people are pointing to this as an example of overconsumption. And I can quite honestly see that because in one of his videos, he literally shows us 1 billion Funko Pops. It's not actually 1 billion, but it's probably pretty close. And again, I get the whole collection aspect of it, but at some point we have to draw the line between overconsumption and collecting. So it's just a matter of where we draw that line. For me, the difference between collecting and overconsumption is the motivation behind why you're buying things. Are you actually curating and purposefully buying specific things, or are you just buying anything and everything? In cases like Funko Daddies here, there's just way too many Funko Pops to even wrap my head around what's going on. This clip Funkos me to the max. I have no more Funkos to give. Another area of toy talk that people point to as an example of overconsumption is Labubu. And if you don't know what a Labubu is, let me show you. So here I just wrote,
oh, spooky Labubu,
in my notes for this part, and I don't really specifically know what I meant by that. So I'm just gonna assume that past Jordan wanted me to show you how scary Labubus look. So here's some scary Labubus. Wow, very scary. Oh, watch out, he's gonna get you. And as far as overconsumption goes, a lot of people will collect a lot of these weird things. I don't know why people collect these. I don't get it. I mean, this one sold for well over $100,000. This thing, I'm gonna need someone to explain this to me because I have no clue. I have no idea. I don't know. Like this thing? What's going on here? What are you doing, guy? Why do you look like that? So we have the queen of insulated cups here with every single possible shape, color, combination, style of Stanley cups that exists. Even this one that looks like it has a built-in computer, and these ones that look like the bottom of a mushroom. Which, having a collection of Stanley cups isn't new. It's been a trend for a while, especially on TikTok. I mean, there have been so many videos of people seeing Stanley cups filling the shelves at stores and then people buying them. It's been a whole thing. When we look at this clip, does it seem more like this amount of Stanley cups was carefully and meaningfully curated, or did she just buy to buy? Well, based off this video alone and the fact that she owns 50 plus Stanley cups, there's a few things I'm gonna have to assume. First, it seems like she wasn't very thoughtful about what she bought. It seems like she almost just bought these Stanley cups to have them. Second, she's probably not meaningfully using these cups for their intended purpose, or it doesn't seem like there's a realistic way she could display them all. Third, that's a lot of Stanley cups. That's a lot. It's a lot. The thing is, I explore all these different areas of overconsumption and talk about them, but I always get comments from people asking me, what's the harm in this? Or why can't you let people enjoy things? Or all this other stuff. There's just a lot of stuff going on in the comments, a lot of it. So I do want to talk a little bit more about the impact of overconsuming. So when it comes to overconsumption or overconsumption adjacent things, there's a few primary issues, each of which could honestly have their own video. Like, they are such deep issues and deep topics that can be talked about, but I'm just gonna go over them briefly here for the sake of time. The first issue is the buy now, pay later model. This is the model where people will split one big payment into multiple smaller payments.
Buy now, pay later. It's probably one of my #1 most hated forms of debt.
And in today's society and today's modern world of online shopping, so many things have this option now. Like, you can do it for a slice of pizza. You can finance a slice of pizza. That's crazy. The thing is though, a lot of people will consistently do this, so their monthly costs start going way up and it gets them into a little bit of a debt trap. Another issue is the actual physical things that people buy. In many cases, like we talked about before, a lot of the products that people buy and don't use end up being wasted. And as we know, that hurts the planet. It makes the planet sad. We don't want to make the planet sad. It's bad. Are you impressed with how much rhyming I did right there? I'm kind of impressed. Okay, I'll say it. I'm impressed. There's also the mental aspect of it. A lot of people kind of just assume because you buy more, you're going to be more happy. But there's actually so many studies that show that the more clutter you have, even if it's organized clutter, the lower satisfaction you'll have in life. So kind of to sum that up in a little jolly way, well, I guess it's not jolly, to sum it up in a little, maybe a little unjolly way, the more you own, if it's cluttering things, the less happy you'll be. That's why it's important to bring at least a little bit of awareness to it, because this is everywhere. Overconsumption is everywhere. I think it's important for people to know that just because it looks good, it doesn't mean it is good. But I do want to clarify, This isn't me scolding people for buying things or enjoying buying things. This is more of an invitation to borrow things instead of buying more, an invitation to repair what's broken instead of replacing, an invitation to put real and authentic community above the algorithm. And look, I know it's easy to get overwhelmed with the hauls and the products and the constant barrage of content thrown in our faces. It feels like we're being told that we need to buy more to be more. But here's the truth. Joy doesn't come wrapped in plastic. Many times, satisfaction doesn't come from buying, but it comes from doing. Maybe the best book you own isn't the coolest looking one you have, but the one you actually finish. And the moment we stop consuming just to please the algorithm or even other people is the moment we make space to live freely. And I think that's something that's worth being talked about. And maybe you need to find a hobby too, who knows? I mean, a lot of people are apparently talking about how hobbies are dead, which I talked about more in this video right here. So go ahead, check that out if you wanna watch that. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.